Hello, everyone out there. This is Dan Desley with Justin Haver and Associates, and this is.
I'm Glenn McCormick, also with Justin Haver and Associates. We're with Remax First proudly as well. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm well, thank you. And you, Glenn?
Wonderful. Still seeing some pretty awesome activity out there in the real estate market in Calgary and surrounding area. Yeah, just good times. Keep rolling, pandemic or not.
I know it's crazy. It doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time. This is all pent up demand, right? So when we're looking at this last month, I know we discussed this in October, and we were saying that this was the highest October that we've seen in 5 years. Well, we're in the same boat here when it comes to November. So that trend is continuing. It still hasn't been enough to offset the low activity that we had in spring, of course, when we first had our lockdown imposed and all of that. So we're still 3% less year over year, but we're coming up on now. We've got 5 months under our belt of the highest that we've seen. So very interesting.
Yeah.
So when we do look at total sales here for all of our market segments, all of our different types throughout Calgary, we have seen total sales of 1,437 versus last year of 1,146.
Bit of a difference.
That's a huge difference. 25.39% increase.
Yeah. Yeah, and last month was I think 23% year over year. So you can argue that yeah, I mean, once again, well, November was much better this year than it was last year, but even statistically, just even a little bit hotter than October for some strange reason, year over year, anyways. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And when we look at new listings in inventory, we're still down. So we're seeing that trend month over month that the sales are up, the inventory is down.
Mhm.
New listings, we were down by 6.76%, and inventory overall down by 15.98%. So our months of supply has dropped as well overall, down to 3.50 months of supply.
Yeah, yeah, it's been pretty crazy out there, and mostly this is driven by the detached home sector.
You want
Um,
to talk about that a little, Glenn?
yeah, I could share some numbers. So let's start with number of sales to put that in perspective. So 703 sales in November last year. This year, 883. So that's a 25.6% year over year change increase. A lot more people buying detached homes this year versus last year in the month of November. New listings are down, also helping to get those sales happening faster when there's less inventory, less properties to choose from. I got to talk about that in a minute, especially in regards to some of our satellite communities like Airdrie. It's it's hard to find properties right now. So sellers, if you're listening, give us a call. Um, Months of supply. Here's the big one. So for detached homes, we were still in that very much buyer's market last year overall, 4.27 months of supply. It would take over 4 months to exhaust our current inventory if there was no new inventory to hit the market and we were to continue on that same number of sales. So that was November 2019. This year, we're at 2.5 months of supply. Uh, Huge difference, and by all means, I mean 2.5 months is pretty much a balanced market, even leaning towards that seller's market, dare I say. But for detached homes, it's actually not that crazy to say. So sorry, not sorry. But yeah, and I mean, sale to new listing ratio, 98.88%. So a lot of listings hitting the market are selling in that detached market. And finally, yeah, I'll talk about benchmark price because that's a big one. Everybody's always curious about the values, and it takes a while for we got to have several months of good number of sales for to see that the values kind of shoot up a little bit, right? And we have seen that in the detached sector. So year over year, November 2019 versus 2020, it's actually a 2.89% increase in benchmark prices for the detached home sector. So that's pretty incredible, and nobody would have expected that at the beginning of the year. Sadly, sorry guys, the apartment sector is still in pretty rough shape. especially when we look at the city center. It's just, you know, with the pandemic, people are seeking bigger spaces, and they're worried about being cooped up in little apartments or big apartments, you know, but without yard space, that kind of stuff. But you know what? I'm going to be optimistic here, Dan. I was watching the news this morning and saw that the UK is going to be rolling out their vaccine soon. I say that's a good sign. Whether you're for or against vaccines doesn't matter. This is overall going to improve, you know, people's confidence in just in returning to a normal way of life. And also, I would say it's going to return people's confidence to buying in smaller multifamily style type properties like apartments. Maybe we'll see more people interested in downtown eventually. You know, it's not going to happen overnight, but with news like this, it's uplifting. It means, you know, the lockdowns or the threat of lockdowns and stuff is slowly going to be coming to an end, I feel. Again, I'm being optimistic, sorry. But
well, we were speaking about, I agree with you in your optimism, Glenn. We were speaking about months of supply when it came to the detached. What's our months of supply when it comes to apartments?
Yeah, great question. So let's reference that. We got about, and this is great to reference just detached versus apartment, but we're at about 7.16. So it would take much longer to exhaust that supply of apartments that we have on the market. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot selling. Sale to new listing ratio was 98 for detached, but for apartments, it's around 51.5%. So again, it's just not as high of a chance of selling those. Yeah, I wanted to mention just a little bit about our surrounding communities.
Yes, please do.
Airdrie, like anytime recently I've been looking for a home in Airdrie in that popular price bracket around 400,000, there's like barely anything available. So, and Airdrie is a good sized city. And anytime something is available, it's selling pretty quickly, and it's getting, there's multiple offers out there. So Airdrie people, if you're thinking about selling, there's people looking right now. So let's have a chat. And you know what? That also goes for Okotoks as well. I'm seeing similar issues there as well. But yeah, if you watched our report from last month, you would have learned that definitely those surrounding communities are all seeing their best, you know, months in years and years and years. So since the times of 2014, or even better, right? All right, so I guess at this point, we've probably bored you to death with some stats. So, you know, maybe we'll just try to wrap this up. And I do want to make, you know, I do want to point out that I recognize Dan is growing a mustache, and it looks good, Dan.
Oh, why, thank you. We'll do a love it or listed here next one.
Yes. Yeah, and my beard is a month full grown in, so
it's stellar, Glenn.
The Movember excuse has expired because we're not in November anymore, but it might be sticking around because my wife doesn't hate it.
There we go. Well, let's see if that changes. Who knows? We'll see what's going on here next month.
Yes.
That's
everybody. Interest rates are still awesome. So yeah, it's still a great market out there. And Merry Christmas to everybody, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. I guess we won't see y'all until the new year here on another one of these videos.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
Yep. But that's going to be fun. We'll see you then, Dan. We'll reconvene and share what's going on then. Until then, once again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff. And I hope everybody can just make the best of it, regardless of our situation here. 2021, we're going to come back strong. We're going to be hugging people again, positive thinking.
I can't wait for that. Don't even tempt me with that, Glenn.
All right. All right. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.